We were solving the problems of measures of skewness, uh, particularly Carl Pearson's coefficient of skewness. We were solving the problems. So here, yesterday we solved the problems of discrete series as well as continuous series. The You just have to calculate the standard deviation and arithmetic mean, and then check the data if you are able to calculate the mode. After calculating all the three things, you'll have to apply the first formula of Carl Pearson's coefficient of skewness to find out the skewness value. So today we will be seeing one more problem of continuous series only, but this problem is of open-end class intervals with cumulative frequencies. Okay, so let's just read the problem first. So we have calculate Carl Pearson's coefficient of skewness from the following data. Weekly wages, it starts from 100 and above. Then 100 and above means you will have to start from 100 and then see what is the other number. So the next number is 200 and above, which means from 100 to 200 you can take it as first class interval. Then the second class interval will be 200 to 300. Then again 300 to 400, 400 to 500, 500 to 600 and 600 to 700. So this will be the class intervals. We have converted the open end class intervals. Okay, so these are open end. If you see, the lower limit is present and the upper limit of the class interval is not given definitely. So these are called open end class intervals. And for all open end class intervals, you will have the frequencies also in cumulative. Okay, you will have a cumulative frequencies. You will have to solve or rearrange this cumulative frequencies into normal frequencies. So let's how do we do that? Start from the least number. So from the least number, go on and subtract the numbers. So 1 will be written as it is, then 3 minus 1 will be the next frequency, 6 minus 3 will be the next frequency, 18 minus 6. Like this we are going to find out the frequencies. So let's just see in the solution in the first table how the frequencies are calculated. So first we have written the class intervals. Now class intervals 100 and above. So 100 will be the starting point and above. So that will be 200. Like this 100 to 200, 200 to 300 until 700 to 800 will be calculated. Next, let's come to frequency. So frequency is here. Okay, this column. Now in frequencies, we are starting from the least number, that is 1. If you see the question, it starts in the last. Okay, so from 1. The next frequency will be 3 minus 1. So 3 minus 1 is 2. Next frequency will be 6 minus 3. So 6 minus 3 is 3 again. And the next frequency is going to be 18 minus 6. So 18 minus 6 will give you 12. Likewise, we are going to solve all the frequencies from cumulative to normal frequencies and we get these frequencies here. Okay, so this is how we calculate the, we convert the open-end class intervals and cumulative frequency into normal class intervals and normal frequency. Now let us go on and calculate the further steps. So again, I'm taking the first definition, first formula only. We are not going to the second formula. First, let us start with the first formula, try and find out all the values. If in case we are not able to calculate mode, then only we will be able to take up the second formula and solve. Okay, so let us go on to the table. So first we have the class intervals and we have calculated the midpoint. Again, how to calculate midpoint? It is as usual 100 plus 200 by 2, that is lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. So that will be your midpoint. So here we have calculated the midpoint for all of the class intervals. Again I repeat, midpoint you have to calculate lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2. So that is going to be 200 plus 300 by 2, 300 plus 400 by 2, 400 plus 500 by 2. Like this we are going to solve for midpoint. Now after finding midpoint, we are supposed to calculate x bar and standard deviation. So for standard deviation as well as x bar, we have to know what are the values of d. So d is nothing but deviations. So we are using step deviation method for calculation of standard deviation. If you remember this, so we have to calculate the m minus a divided by I. So this formula is used, m minus a divided by I. I is the common value, m is the midpoint, a is the assumed mean. Now out of in continuous series, to find out assumed mean, you are supposed to consider the value from midpoint. Now midpoint, the central value, I am taking it as assumed mean. So the central value is 450. This is considered as assumed mean here. So m minus 450 divided by 100. How did I get 100? The difference between the midpoint values or the class interval difference here, that is 100 to 200. So that will give you 100 as common value. Now let's calculate the deviations. 150 minus 450 will give you minus 300. Divide that by 100. Again you will get the final answer as minus 3. 250 minus 450 will give you minus 200. Divided by 100, again minus 2. Likewise, you are supposed to calculate all the deviation values here. Complete deviation values are to be calculated starting from, you will get the answers starting from minus 3 to plus 3. Next, once we find the deviations, now square the deviations. Now squaring of deviations, you can take this as d dash. Okay, since we are using the step deviation, you can take it as d dash. So since we are finding out squares, so you're supposed to just multiply the same number. Okay, you're supposed to multiply the same number into with itself. So minus 3 into minus 3. Okay, minus 3 into minus 3 will give you plus 9. Likewise, if you calculate all the squares of these numbers, you get d dash square. Okay, so this is the first calculation of x. We take the class intervals, we find the midpoint, we find the deviations using assumed mean with the formula m minus a divided by I. Then we square these deviations, which is known as d dash square. Now these are the first part. The next part is consideration of frequency. Now from the cumulative frequency, that is these numbers, from the cumulative frequency we have converted them into normal frequency. Now using these frequencies, let's do the further calculation. Now once the frequencies are here, total them, that will be our n. So this is the first number required for calculation of standard deviation as well as x bar. Next, we have frequencies, we have d dash or deviations. Multiply both of them. So frequencies into d dash. These two columns, okay, this column deviations and this column of frequencies multiplied to get fd dash. Now once you find out fd dash, that is minus 3 into 4, minus 2 into 10, minus 1 into 18, 0 into 12. Like this you are supposed to calculate fd dash. Now once you calculate fd dash square, and again you have d dash square. So we are supposed to also consider the d dash square. Again consider this frequency and multiply them with d dash square. So this column, whichever I am marking in yellow, this column and the next column, that is frequency, will be multiplied to get the final values of fd dash square. Okay, we will get the final values of fd dash square. So this will be the major numbers for us to consider in calculation. Once we find fd dash, sum up or add all of them, you get sigma fd dash is equal to minus 40, and then fd dash square, once you find out, sum up all of them and you get summation of fd dash square, which is 114. So these are the three major numbers which are required for calculation. Okay, so this comprises of table calculations. Anybody has doubt with the table calculation? Did everybody understand the table calculations? Let's continue. Let's go on to the formula now. Now first we are supposed to calculate the x bar. Now x bar or arithmetic mean, we are using the step deviation method where you will have assumed mean as well as your step deviation method added up. So assumed mean which we calculated here was 450. Okay, 450 was the assumed mean which we considered. So 450 plus sigma fd dash by n. So sigma fd dash is nothing but 40. Okay, 40 divided by n is 50 into I. I is the difference between the class intervals or the midpoint here. So that will be 100. So once you add on all the values here, that is 450 plus minus 40 by 50 into 100, which will give us the total arithmetic mean value to be 370. Now after finding out arithmetic mean, let us go on and find out standard deviation. So the formula for continuous series is square root of sigma fd dash square divided by n minus sigma ft dash by n whole square. Again I repeat, please be careful with the second expression of the formula because many students make mistake here while taking the square. Now let's put on all the values. So sigma ft dash square is nothing but 114. Okay, 100 and plus 114 is there. So we consider 114 divided by n is nothing but 50 minus sigma fd dash is minus 40 by 50 whole square. Please don't write it as minus 40 square by 50. That will not give you marks and your answer will also be wrong. And then multiply it by 100. The next step, square root of 114 by 50 is 2.28 into minus 40 by 50 is 0.64. This whole expression minus 40 by 50 whole square is going to be 0.64 into 100. This 100 is still outside the square root. Okay. Next, multiply these two. 2.28 into 0.64. That will give you an answer of square root of 1.64 into 100. And then now calculate the square root of 1.64 wherein the resultant is 1.2806. Now multiply the 100. Okay, after calculating the square root, now multiply 100. So your total standard deviation value will be 128.06. So we found out x bar, we found out standard deviation. Now let us see the problem and analyze if we can calculate mode for this particular problem. Okay, let's go back to the table for a while. Now you have the class intervals given here. Okay, you have all the class intervals given here and then you have the frequency here. Okay, see only these two columns, frequency, class intervals. Now first we'll check in the frequency. Which is the highest frequency in this? You have 18. Okay, 18 is the highest frequency. Now if 18 is the highest frequency, what is the corresponding value or corresponding class interval? Okay, 18 is the highest frequency. Corresponding class interval is 300 to 400, which means this 300 to 400 is the modal class. Okay, 300 to 400 is the modal class, and for calculation of mode using the formula, we have to define the frequencies. So whichever the corresponding frequency is there, that is the highest frequency will be f1, the previous frequency will be f0, and the next frequency of f1 will be f2. So those are the major values to be considered. Now after this, let us go on and calculate the mode directly. Now, in few problems, before I go to the formula, in few problems, if the difference between, okay, if the difference between the highest mode and the next highest is very less, okay, carefully listen this, I'll repeat it again. If the difference between the highest frequency and the next highest frequency is very less, in that case we are supposed to calculate mode using the analysis table. I hope all of you remember the analysis table. So you have to calculate mode using analysis table and then continue the calculation of skewness. Okay, here we have good amount of difference, so we are not going through the analysis table. So here suppose if this frequency, let's take for example this frequency was 18 as it is, and the next highest frequency was 17. In such case you have to do an analysis table. So here we don't have that. Let's go on and use the formula and calculate the mode values. Okay, just a second. Okay, so going back to the formula, the highest frequency is 18. The mode lies in the 300 to 400 class, which means 300 to 400 is the modal class. Now mode formula has been written. Do not forget the formula, to write the formula, because this also contains marks. Every formula will have half to 1 mark, so make sure you write the right formulas in the examination. Then mode is equal to L plus F1 minus F0 divided by 2F1 minus F0 minus F2 into I. So this is the mode formula. Now let us put all the values into the formula. So 300 is the lower limit. So this 300 is been considered here. Okay, 300 is being considered for L, plus F1 is nothing but, let's go back to the table for to just have a confirmation. F1 is nothing but 18, F0 is 10 and F2 is 12. So F1 is equal to 18, F0 is 10, again divided by 2 into 18, because that's F2 again, minus 10 minus F2 is 12 into 100. I is 100. Okay, don't forget to multiply I here. Okay, in all the skewness formulas you will usually have I for all the formulas to be calculated. Okay, in the mode formula I is always there. This is the difference between the class interval of modal class. If you check the other mode formulas also, I is always present, because whatever is the difference between the modal class, that has to be considered. Okay, so that let's simplify this expression. 300 plus 18 minus 10 is 8, divided by 2 into minus 18, 2 into 18 minus 10 minus 12 into 100. So if you go on and solve these values, you get 8 divided by 14 into 100, and then 8 by 14, 300 plus 8 by 14 into 100 will give you 57.143. So your total mode is 357.143. Okay, so we have calculated all the three values. Let's find out skewness. So x bar is 370 minus mode value is 357 point. Okay, they've given us as minus, just make it as point. 357.143 divided by 128.06. Okay, so this, once you calculate all of them, you get the skewness to be 0.10039. You get a positive value here, because we are starting from a highest number, so you get a positive value, but it still is between plus or minus 1. So here we get a positive value of 0.10039. Okay, so this is a continuous series problem, but a open-ended class interval. So be careful while conversion of the open-end classes into a normal class frequency. Okay, did you all understand this problem? Anybody has doubt here? Kindly do not skip the coefficient problems thinking the procedures are lengthy, because these questions are where you can get full marks. Full 14 marks can be easily given to such numbers, because no matter how much mistake you do, you will get the marks for steps, and simplification procedures or the steps you will have to solve carefully. Okay, everybody compulsory must attend these questions, because answers are relatively easy to get, and you're used to solving problems, it will be easy for you. Let's go to the next question. But this question, whatever is here, is your homework. Okay, so this question has to be solved, and you can say me the answers by tomorrow. I'll just explain the question once. Okay, Karl Pearson's coefficient of skewness are supposed to be calculated here also. They're asking the same coefficient to be calculated. Then they've given us the continuous series, but if you see the numbers, they are not continuous. It's a continuous series, but it is inclusive form of class interval. 21 to 23, 24 to 26. It's not 21 to 23, 23 to 25. It's not that. Okay, so here what you're supposed to do is convert the class intervals. Convert this class intervals from inclusive to exclusive form. Okay, once you convert them into exclusive form, then you can go on and follow the same procedures as the previous problem and solve the problem. So you have to say me the answer for skewness, arithmetic mean, standard deviation and mode. Okay, I want all of these answers tomorrow in tomorrow's class. You can solve it. If you have any doubt, you can come back to me on the WhatsApp group. Okay, so let's go on to the next problem. Okay, so here you have the next problem. This can be asked for a 6 marks question. Very easy problem. They have given us all the data. Okay, all the data is provided to us, and they are asking us to say if the following statements are true or false. Okay, looks tricky. Okay, such questions looks tricky, but you will have to read the question thoroughly first. Let's go through the question first. Consider the following data. We have two distributions given to us, distribution A and distribution B. So we have mean, that is x bar. We have median, and then we have standard deviation. Okay, arithmetic mean of A, arithmetic mean of B, then median of distribution A and B, standard deviation of A and B. So they have asked us to say if these two statements are true or false. So first statement is distribution A has same degree of variation as distribution B. So when it comes to the word of variation, you are supposed to find out CV. If you remember measures of dispersion, we have solved enough problems there. Variation, uniform, then consistency, all these words will relate to coefficient of variation. So for the first sentence here, or for the first statement what they have given, distribution A has same degree of variation as distribution B. We have to solve using coefficient of variance, and then we will get the answer. Now the second statement what they have given to us is both distributions have same degree of skewness. So second one is talking about the skewness. So let us consider Karl Pearson skewness, that is SKP. Okay, Karl Pearson skewness we will calculate and we will give the conclusion. So let's go for the first statement. So first statement, distribution A has same degree of variation as distribution B. So we will have to find out coefficient of variance, where they have only given us standard deviation by arithmetic mean into 100. All data is given here to us. We just have to apply the numbers. Now for distribution A, standard deviation let us consider. Standard deviation for distribution A is 10. For B also it is 10. Then arithmetic mean for A it is 100. For B it is 90. So 10 divided by 100 into 100. 10 divided by 90 into 100. So that will be the value here. So 10 divided by 100 into 100 will again give us 10%. 10 divided by 90 into 100 will give us 11.5%. 11%. So which means coefficient of variation of distribution B is greater than coefficient of variation of distribution A. So first thing, B has the highest coefficient of variation. So that is the first observation. Therefore, distribution B is more variable than distribution A. So this is the actual answer. Okay, distribution B is more variable than distribution A, which means distribution A, this first sentence which says same degree, okay, same degree, this is a false statement. Okay, distribution A has same degree of variation as distribution B is a false statement. So what is the actual answer? Distribution B is more variable. It is not same degree of variation. Distribution B is more variable than distribution A. Okay, so that is, so the first statement is false. Did you all understand the first statement? Anybody has doubt in solving the first statement given there? Such questions can be asked for 6 marks for both BCom as well as BBA. Okay, now let's go for the next statement. That is, both distribution have same degree of skewness. Now, same degree of skewness, we will have to calculate the skewness, that is Karl-Pearson skewness. SKP is equal to, now here we are using the second formula. Why second formula? Because if you see the question, they have not given us mode. Okay, mode information is not given to us. So that is why we are using the median. Now when you are using the median, you are supposed to use the second formula of coefficient of skewness. So the second formula is 3 into x bar minus median divided by standard deviation. So this is the second formula. Now let's go for the distribution A. Let's calculate distribution A. 3 into x bar is 100. See, if you see here, arithmetic mean of distribution A is 100, B is 90, median is 90 and 80, and then standard deviation is 10. Standard deviation is same. Okay, so 3 into 100 minus 90 by 10. For distribution A, the skewness is 3. Okay, the distribution A, the skewness what we have calculated is 3. For distribution B, again the same formula, 3 into 90 minus 80 divided by 10. So that is 10 divided by 10. Again the final answer will be 3 only. So skewness is same for distribution A as well as distribution B. So both the distribution have same degree of skewness. So let's see what was the second statement. Both distribution have same degree of skewness, which means this statement is true. Okay, this statement is true. So for the first statement, it was false because it was not same degree, but distribution B was more variable. For the second statement, it is true because we already proved here that the coefficient of the skewness is, the Karl-Pearson's coefficient of skewness is same degree for both the distribution. Okay, did you all understand the second statement? Any doubt in this problem? Okay, let's go to the next question. Another 6 marks question. Let's understand this. Okay, thank you for the feedback. Let's go to the next question. This is the next question. The sum of 50 observations is 500. Okay, sum of 50. So 50 observations means n is equal to 50. So we have 50 observation altogether, and sum of them is 500, which means sigma x, summation of x is 500. Sum of their squares means x. Okay, sum of x square is 6000. So sigma x square is 6000. Then median is 12. Compute the coefficient of variation and coefficient of skewness. So both we are supposed to calculate. We are supposed to calculate CV and we are supposed to calculate SKP, that is Pearson's coefficient of skewness. Now be careful in reading the question, because the sum of observation square of the sum of their squares, don't get confused. Read the question slowly and thoroughly and then analyze them. And always write down whatever is given in the question like this in the first line, so that you know what information is available to us and you are not getting confused with the numbers. So n is 50, sigma x is 500, sigma x square is 6000 and median is 12. Now first we'll have to find out the x bar. So we have the information to find x bar, that is nothing but sigma x by n. Okay, sigma x is 500, n is 50. So arithmetic mean is 10. Next we will find out standard deviation. So standard deviation, again we have the required data, but the formula used here is for continuous series. We are supposed to use sigma x square. Okay, you are supposed to use sigma x square by n minus sigma x by n whole square. Okay, this is supposed to be the formula. They have given the formula, wrong formula here. Okay, let's not consider that. So sigma x square is nothing but 600 divided by n is 50 minus sigma x is 500. Okay, sigma x is 500 divided by n is again 50 whole square. Okay, so next if you see here, 6000 by 50 is 120 minus 500 by 50 whole square is 100. So square root of 20, your standard deviation is 4.472. Okay, 4.472. We have not multiplied I anywhere. Okay, we have not multiplied I because we do not know the value of I, first thing. And this is a statement question. There are no numbers given. So we cannot find out any of this value of I. So let's not consider that at all. So don't get confused with the normal questions and statement questions. I is not considered here. So we found the arithmetic mean, we found the standard deviation. Now next they have asked us to find coefficient of variation. Now coefficient of variation, standard deviation by arithmetic mean into 100, 4.472 divided by arithmetic mean is 10 into 100 will give you 44.72%. Always coefficient of variation was given in terms of percentage. So we found out CV. Then coefficient of skewness. Here again we are supposed to use the second formula because the value of mode is not given to us. Okay, the value of mode is not given to us. So we are using the second formula, that is 3 into x bar minus median divided by standard deviation. So 3 into x bar is 10, median is given to us which is 12 divided by standard deviation 4.472. So when you simplify them, 3 into 10 minus 12. So 10 minus 12 minus 2 into 3. Sorry, this is gonna be minus 6 and not 16. Okay, it is minus 6. Just hold on. This is supposed to be 0, 6. Okay, this is supposed to be 0, 6. So minus 6 by 4.472. You will get an answer of minus 1.3416. Okay, so this is the coefficient of skewness in this problem. So to summarize the whole problem, they have given us a number of observations, that is n is equal to 50. Then the sum of observations, that is sigma x is equal to 500. Sum of their squares, that is sigma x square is equal to 600. Then median is 12. So we are supposed to use this formula here. Sigma x square by n minus square root is always there. Okay, square root of sigma x square by n minus sigma x by n whole square. And then we found out standard deviation. We found out arithmetic mean. Then they asked us to calculate the coefficient of variation and then coefficient of skewness. So we have solved all of that has been asked for. Okay, this can be asked for 6 marks. Any doubt in this problem? Any part you want me to explain it again, or are you clear with the whole problem? Okay. So there are certain very small problems. Let's just finish this one slide. These are very small two marks problems. You can expect 2 marks problems also. Along with the theory, 1 or 2 marks problems can be asked from the previous part of the chapter, that is coefficient of variation problems. Apart from that, here for skewness also they can ask the problem. So let's see this. In a certain distribution, mean is 45. So x bar is given to us, mean is 45. Median is also given to us, 48. SKP, this is nothing but skewness. SK is skewness, P is Pearson's, Karl Pearson's skewness. So Pearson's skewness is minus 0.4, and they are asking us to find SD. SD is standard deviation. Don't think this is step deviation, okay? It's a standard deviation. So now since median is given to us, let us use the second formula of skewness, that is SKP is equal to 3 into x bar minus median divided by standard deviation. So we have the value of skewness minus 0.4, which is equal to 3 into x bar is 45, x bar is known, median is 48, that is also given in the question, divided by standard deviation. Now all that you have to do is just interchange these places where your x bar goes to the other side and minus 0.4 comes down here. So in the next step, standard deviation is equal to 3 into 45 minus 48. So 45 minus 48 is minus 3. Okay, 3 into minus 3 divided by minus 0.4 will be your next step. Okay, after this the next step will be that. Then if you further simplify them, is equal to 3 into minus 3 is minus 9. Okay, minus 9 divided by minus 0.4. So that is what is the step given here. Okay, minus 9 by minus 0.4, which is equal to your total value of 22.5. Okay, so standard deviation, using all this information we found out the standard deviation, which is to be 22.5. So these are few 2 marks question. Did you understand the first question? Anybody has doubt in the first question? Okay. Now let's see the next question. Calculate coefficient of skewness. So they have given us, so they're asking us to calculate the coefficient of skewness, and let's see what all data is given to us. We have mean. Okay, x bar is given. X bar is equal to 59.5. Then we have variance. Okay, they have not given us standard deviation, but they have given us variance where we can find out the standard deviation. And then again they have given us the median. So since median is given and mode is not given, which formula do we use? First formula or the second formula? Leave your answers in chat. Which formula are we supposed to use since median is given? Type your answers in the chat. Quickly. Should we use first formula or the second formula? Which formula are we supposed to use to calculate skewness? First formula or second formula? Second formula. Okay. I'm getting few answers though. You need to concentrate much better. You'll be asked questions hereafter in between the classes. So second formula we are using. Okay, fine. Second formula we'll be using because mode is not given to us. Okay, since mode is not given to us, we'll be using the second formula. Now second formula is 3 into x bar minus median divided by standard deviation. And here if you see, they have given us variance and not standard deviation. So we let us calculate the standard deviation using variance. So square root of variance will give us the standard deviation value. That is, square root of variance is 110. This 110 is being considered, which means we will be students, kindly mute your mics. Okay, so square root of 110 will be 10.4881. Okay, 10.4881 will be the value of standard deviation. Okay, now once we have all the values, let's just calculate the coefficient of skewness with using the second formula. So 3 into 59.5 is x bar minus median 55.7 divided by standard deviation 10.4881. So when you simplify this, you are supposed to get the total answer. So you will have to calculate and say me what is the skewness answer here. Can you all give me the answer for this? Calculate this expression and say me what is the skewness value. Quickly. Good. Rakshita got the answer already. Okay. So everybody is getting 1.0869. So this is the total value of skewness. It is positive number again. Okay, it's a positive number. This will be the Pearson skewness value or coefficient of skewness, whatever they're asked. Okay, that's good. I've only got 3 members answering until now though. Okay, so everybody understood these two problems? Any doubts in both of the problems?